All right, folks. One of my philosophies is that happiness is the thing that matters. It's really the only thing that matters. And spreading happiness in the world is what you're going to be remembered for. Yeah, the things that you can hold and own, it's temporary. But happiness and experiences, those are things that last forever. And those happy moments, and as they happen, cannot be taken away. Now, surely there's a lot of unhappy folks out there in the world right now, and just trying to spread as much happiness in the world. And I know it sounds corny, and I don't care if it sounds corny. You can light me up all you want to, but I do truly believe that that's what we need. It's not money, it's not things, it's not anything you can hold in your hand. It's what you can feel. And again, I know that sounds corny, and I don't care. That's how I believe. So this video's been popping up on my feed a lot. The video and folks reacting to this video. Why metalheads are happier people. And this is from DW History and Culture. And I want to watch this video. And I want to see what it's all about. And give you my thoughts on this thing. So here we go.
Loud, chaotic, and aggressive. Heavy metal fans are angry, rowdy people, right? Wrong.
That's right. You're probably not going to find a group of happier people.
Metalheads are actually some of the happiest and most peaceful people around. It's even scientifically proven that listening to heavy metal has a positive impact on mental health. How's that, you ask? Well, reason number one is that metalheads feel like they're part of one big community. And what better place to see that than in metal mecca Wacken. The small town in Schleswig-Holstein, northern Germany, is home to just 2,000 people, but in August every year metal fans from around the world flock to Wacken.
I did when I was in Germany for a few months. I was deployed there one time. I did not get to make it to Wacken, but I did go to, it was like the German Woodstock kind of thing. They had like several bands around this lake, and I partied with my CO, and I partied with a lot of locals and some biker gang locals, and it was one of the funnest nights of my life.
Some 75,000 have been waiting for this moment. The opening of the so-called Promised Land.
We're really grateful that you've been so loyal to Wacken and to our crew, to our artists. So we're really proud that you're all here. And now it's open the gate!
Joking, I'm crying, guys. It's so emotional for me.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy. He's kissing the ground.
Yeah.
He's crying.
You better kiss it now, because it's gonna be not kissable later.
I don't have any words.
These tough-looking metal fans aren't afraid to express their emotions as they share a moment of communal joy.
I've done other big festivals, but Wacken, that's really huge people. Everyone is friendly. Everything is awesome, and feels like a family of 75,000 people. That's awesome.
Wacken is the promised land.
It's so friendly. Everyone's always really welcoming, and it's different from festivals in the UK. Festivals in the UK can be a bit erratic and a bit, it's not very nice really, and here it's always really warm.
We feel that there is truly harmony, there is friendship, there is brotherhood at the festival.
And how do the locals feel about a horde of partygoers invading their little town every year?
They're all nice people, even though they get a bit tipsy. It's nice to have them here, but it's also nice when they leave, too.
I always say these are the most lovable people you'll ever find. They all stick up for each other and help each other out. There are no brawls. It's just great.
Sounds like...
You know, Germany is just, it's one of the most laid-back countries you can visit. I highly recommend it.
Like the Metalheads have swept the locals off their feet, and that they really are happier people. But why would heavy metal of all genres have such easygoing fans? Why not folk music or some other genre? Is there something special about metal? It might have to do with reason number 2. Metal provides an outlet for stress and anger.
100%.
I'm convinced that metal elicits an effect in us that the ancient Greeks knew about and used in Greek tragedies. It's this theory of catharsis. You can translate that very roughly as cleansing.
I 100% agree with this. Listening to metal music and like the kind of artwork I do, sometimes it gets pretty creepy and dark, but it's an outlet. It's a release for all the stuff that gets piled on you, throughout your life, and just the day in, day out stress. You need a release, and metal most definitely is a release.
The theory of catharsis originated with Aristotle's theory of tragedy. The ancient Greeks held the view that the audience sympathises with the protagonist in his fate to cleanse themselves of negative emotions, such as fear, anger, and grief.
The exciting thing about metal music is that it ventures into very dark places, more than other genres. On the one hand, you've got this very aggressive, often fast, bass-dominant music, which I think is unique to metal. On the other, there's very little other music whose lyrics speak of murder, manslaughter, death and the devil. That's why I think this music can elicit this cleansing effect.
Now, of course, there's different types of metal. And, there's the darkest of dark metal, and then there's just this super uplifting, dragon fighting type of metal. And, you got to find your own sweet spot within it. I tend to be like on the thrashier side, and like the dragon fighting side of metal. Sometimes though I drop off into that dark stuff that he's talking about.
Gerade diese Musik geeignet ist, diesen reinigenden Effekt auszulösen.
Nico Rose is one of the leading experts for positive psychology in Germany. Metal musicians affirm his theory of heavy metal's cleansing effect, such as the members of the Ukrainian band IT.
I can compare it with the people who study something like sport like box. Most of people who are boxing, they are very polite, gently people in their regular life, because all their aggression they let at the trainings. So maybe the same thing happens with the rock music.
Also, anybody that boxes, they know like actual violence and stuff is nothing to play with. Like folks that actually box, they have released that energy but they also know the consequences of releasing that energy. So there you go.
You listen very powerful, aggressive sounds. After that, you don't need an aggression in your regular life. It's just you put it there, you canalize it in some kind of way. You don't let your aggression on your family, on your friends. You just listen to her music. You let all aggression there, and in your regular life, you're just a normal person. I guess it works like that.
Heavy metal then can function as a kind of safe space. Negative emotions can be let loose on stage or in the mosh pit, and it does look more fun and more liberating than a therapy session. Which brings us to reason number 3. Metal leads to feelings of joy and empowerment. A team of researchers at Macquarie University's Music Lab in Sydney ran a study to see if fans of death metal music had become desensitised to violence. The researchers' findings:
we found that in fact the bias is the same for fans and non-fans of violent music, which suggests that there is no desensitization to violence among fans of death metal music.
Yeah, my take is like I said, there's so many different layers. Metal music is aggressive music, but it's you can't like metal is not just metal. There are so many different versions of metal, so many different reasons to listen to it, so many different emotional, connections to the music that, and to each their own. I'm not a huge death metal fan, but sometimes I find myself over there. It just depends on what I'm feeling at the time.
They're just as empathetic. They're just as sensitive to violent depictions. They care just as much about violence outside of the musical context.
To outsiders, heavy metal may well sound aggressive and intimidating, but from their study, the Australian research team concluded that when metal fans hear aggressive metal, they themselves are not feeling aggressive. On the contrary.
The fans are really only extracting the positive qualities of that music and transforming it into an empowering experience.
According to the study, metal actually makes people happy. But there's a catch. Metal primarily makes its own fans happy. To everyone else, it can indeed sound intimidating, which negates the positive effect. But don't worry, fans of other genres can experience the healing effects of their own music. Researchers in Montreal conducted a study in 2021 and found that music has a great effect on the brain's reward system. When we listen to our own favourite music, the same areas of the brain are activated as when we consume narcotics.
And I will say this about this point, is don't box yourself in and don't label yourself as, oh, I only listen to this and I don't like any of that, just automatically. I am a connoisseur of all different kinds of music. Like if you listen to my playlist, it would probably really kind of blow your mind, because I've got pop, I've got country, I've got metal, I've got old, stoner rock, I've got rockabilly stuff on there. I've got stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up. I've got a little bit of everything. I feel like if you label yourself, you box yourself in, if you slap that label on and you don't want to, ruin your brand by not participating in any other kind of music, you are cheating yourself. Don't do that. Give it all a shot, and if you like it, you like it. If folks aren't down with you liking it, guess what? Cut them loose. Happiness.
To sum up, the power of music is great, and especially the power of heavy metal. The metalhead community sees itself as one big family. Everyone gets on, and whenever necessary, any aggression or other negative vibes can be headbanged into oblivion.
Yeah, look, if you go to a metal show that's got a mosh pit, if you're in the mosh pit, participating in the mosh pit, have fun, that's on you. But outside of the mosh pit, you better be respectful at a metal show. That's all I can say. The fans are there to enjoy themselves. They're not there for a bunch of nonsense. We're at the end.
Does heavy metal make you happy, or is it just noise? Let us know in the comments and hit the subscribe button for more Arts Unveiled.
Okay. So my final thoughts on this video is metal for sure. Metal is a release that makes me happy when I'm feeling a certain way. Other music can have just as much power as metal when I'm feeling a different way. Are metalheads happier? I think that they have that release, and they really, like, if you see a bunch of metalheads walking down the street, they're free from worrying about what you think about them. So there is that freedom part of it. There is that release of aggression, because you got to have that. You got to have that steam valve. You got to let it out sometimes. Like I said, heavy metal, my dark artwork, stuff like that. Those are my outlets when I'm feeling a certain way, like when the world's getting to me too much, or I think I'm taking things too seriously. But if I'm feeling good, it's Valentine's Day, I'm probably not listening to heavy metal. I'm gonna be popping in some baby makers. I'm a huge fan of TLC, like from the 90s. Yeah, I love TLC, man. Like No Scrubs is one of my favorite songs ever, and I don't care what anybody thinks about that. That is for me and my happiness. Phil Collins, I think I can listen to Phil Collins all day long, and then I can jump right in to my good old thrash metal, my Iron Maiden, my Judas Priest, and now I've got all these new and wonderful bands that you guys have put me on to. It is very much how you feel, and is it making you feel better or worse? And to me, that's what you need to be listening to. I talked one time about I want to bring the right energy to the channel, to these reactions, to give back to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. There has been probably 10 or 12 or more videos that I've recorded, and I just didn't feel like I had the right energy to give back. And I want to keep my reactions real and authentic. I don't want to re-record a reaction. So if I don't feel like the energy is right for it, what I'll do is usually I can tell pretty quick. If the energy's not right, I will just shut it down and stop. I'm going to put that on the back burner, and then a month or two from now, I'll go back to it. But it's just about energy. I want to give back that positive energy that you guys have given to me. But I'm human. I'm just like everybody else, and we all got to have our outlets. We all got to feel, right? You can't help how you feel. You can't help what's going on inside. You can work on it. You can learn to accept, and you can try to improve, your inner happiness. But you can't fake that. You can't fake what you actually feel inside. But music has always been a great outlet, sedative, or amplifier for how I feel and how I want to feel. And that's another big thing too. Yeah, it's how you want to feel. And I just feel like if you're focused on the things that you're going to own, that you're going to hold in your hand, you're going to miss out on the most important things of life. You will, like me, one day turn around and be 50 years old. Some of y'all are a lot older than I am, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, from the time you're 30 to 40 to 50, things sneak up on you really fast. And with each passing stage of life, things start coming into focus. All the stuff that used to seem so important, you learn doesn't really mean anything. It's not going to mean anything in the end. All that's going to be left is how you feel, how others feel about you. And I know it sounds corny. I don't care. So, are metalheads happier people? I think in general, folks that are fans of heavy metal music are a little bit happier because I feel like they've got an outlet, and I do feel like they're a little bit more free from worrying about what society thinks about how they look or act. And I just it's a rejection of being labeled normal. Don't be labeled anything. Just be happy. Enough said.